This screen shows options in ETPES that are available for categorizing educators based upon available data. Once districts have entered available student growth measure data and performance data into ETPES later this school year, the system will complete the calculations for the final summative rating. The system will convert each of the ratings to a point value based upon a 600-point scale. This graphic shows how the scores on student growth measures and performance standards are converted on the original teacher evaluation framework. These score conversions would also apply to the Ohio Principal Evaluation System. This graphic shows how the scores on student growth measures, performance standards, the alternative components are converted for the alternative teacher evaluation framework. So why use a 600-point scale for both the original and alternative frameworks? The 600-point scale provides advantages. It accommodates both the 1 through 4 and the 1 through 5 rating ladders used as inputs in the evaluation system, as well as allowing for minimal use of decimals in the summative ratings. This slide shows a final summative rating sheet using the original framework for teachers. Note that there really are no changes for teacher and principal evaluation from last year regarding the final summative rating and the final summative sheet. This slide shows an example of what will appear for a performance rating of a school counselor after 2 observations of that school counselor. Note that not every standard is selected in each observation, but each standard does have a rating when you look at both of the rubrics. This is a requirement of law that the school counselor be evaluated in all standard areas. When determining the final summative rating for the school counselor, you'll need to determine a rating for each of the rubric areas based upon the available evidence from multiple interactions. You will look at the larger picture of performance across all areas of the rubric. Although all areas are important for effective school counseling practice, you may find it appropriate to more strongly weight patterns of behavior in one area over another. The key point is that the evaluator should consider no one area in isolation, but should analyze each in relation to all other areas of performance. Determine which of the 4 performance levels is most appropriate for the school counselor based on this holistic process. A timeline is provided for your next steps. In August and September, you should set up ETPES. Then starting in September and throughout the year, you'll focus on professional growth planning, observations, and conferences. Early this fall, teachers and principals, if needed, will be developing SLOs and reviewing student growth data, and the school counselors will be working on metrics of student outcomes. Then, by the middle of the year, the first observation data needs to be entered into ETPES. ODE recommends that by the middle of April, teachers administer the post-assessment for the SLO, and thereafter complete the SLO scoring template for submission to the principal. Then the principal will begin entering vendor and local measure ratings into ETPES. By May the 1st, principals will complete the evaluations for each teacher, and by May the 10th, principals provide each teacher with a written report of the results of the teacher's evaluation, and by the middle of June, OSES and OTES evaluations are entered into ETPES before it closes. Before the end of the school year, you'll want to make sure that all educators have entered their PINs for evaluation. For principal evaluation, the principal's preliminary evaluation must be completed 60 days prior to contract action, but prior to June 1st, you must notify administrators about contract renewal or non-renewal. And by June the 15th, it is anticipated that ETPES will be closing for the 16-17 school year. Any copies or information that you need from ETPES must be made prior to this time. If you have questions or need support, please contact one of the state ETPES trainers. For additional help, you can contact us through any of these links. You can follow the Ohio Department of Education on social media. Thank you for your attention and participating in this presentation.